Ready to start breeding cherry shrimp for profit? Me too, but there's so much to learn! Keep watching as I cover how to set up a simple and easy shrimp tank for making tons of babies. Hi, this is a gamer's wife here with practical and proven tips to help busy aquarists like you. And after I finished breeding cory catfish and honey gouramis, I kinda wanted to take it easier with my next breeding project. Red cherry shrimp are a great beginner species that supposedly breed like freshwater cockroaches. They sell like hotcakes at the local fish auctions, and they're infinitely cuter than snails. I don't like snails. Now I've kept a mono shrimp and crystal red shrimp before, but never have I tried to keep Neocaridina shrimp for profit. What does it take to set up the ultimate baby-making aquarium? Not pretty, but functional and easy to clean. Now for the aquarium itself, you can keep shrimp in as little as 2.5 gallons, but if you really want to breed them, I'd recommend 10 gallons or more. The bigger, the better, because more water volume means more water stability. For the water itself, they'll take anything from a pH of 6.0 to 8.0, so I just use my tap water with a little dechlorinator like Chem Prime. No additives, no nothing. Trust me, these shrimp are pretty hardy compared to other species. In terms of a lid, you don't really need one since they're not known to be jumpers, but I like it because it prevents evaporation, which may lessen any spikes in TDS. Okay, so what do you need for equipment? I like to use for filtration a sponge filter. It's super gentle, won't suck up any babies, and it provides a lot of good oxygenation. Check out my tutorial linked above and in the description. In fact, I often cycle my tank by sticking the new sponge filter in an established aquarium long enough to get nice and gunky, and then I transfer the sponge filter over to the new aquarium to spread around the beneficial bacteria. In terms of temperature, these shrimp can live in 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I keep mine right around 75, so I personally have a heater because our house gets really cold in the winter. For lighting, I don't have anything special, just a regular old kit light on a timer that's on for about 6 to 10 hours. Just enough to keep the low light plants alive and happy and the algae growing on all tank surfaces to feed the shrimp. Okay, what about decor? Well, for substrate, most people recommend at least a thin coating of dark sand or substrate because it really colors up the shrimp, grows beneficial bacteria, but is still easy to clean. Obviously, don't do what you see on the screen here. This is a former quarantine tank that I converted into a shrimp breeding tank, so I haven't gotten around to adding substrate. There are active substrates in certain aqua soils that can help with pH and KH buffering, but that's usually more important for other shrimp like Caridinias. Your shrimp will love you if you have lots of quick-growing moss, floating plants, and other fluffy foliage. It really helps keep the water quality high since you want to keep nitrates at like 20 ppm or below. Plus it offers lots of hiding places where they can hang out and graze on all day. Speaking of grazing surfaces, don't forget to add driftwood like cholla wood and catappa leaves. Both of them tend to decompose pretty quickly, which is great for growing biofilm that the shrimp can eat. And finally, you'll want to add some kind of calcium source since the shrimp need it to build healthy exoskeletons. I personally like using crushed coral because it's great for raising your general hardness and buffering capacity. Cherry shrimp typically like 4 to 8 degrees GH and 2 to 8 degrees KH. As for tank mates, well, you probably want to aim for a species-only tank if you're really trying to breed them. But I've definitely heard of people breeding snails or even guppies and other small fish as long as there's enough cover for them to hide. As for maintenance, I personally like doing small, frequent water changes, something like 10 to 20% per week. For my gravel vac, I just grabbed some 3/8 inch tubing, which is a little bigger than airline tubing, and tie it to a chopstick. But some people use an actual siphon and cover it with steel mesh. Don't want to suck up any babies. In fact, one cool trick I learned is to get a white bucket to siphon your dirty water into it. That way you can more easily see any baby shrimp that you sucked up. To avoid sucking up shrimp in the first place, some people recommend swirling the water above the substrate and then you can suck up any detritus from mid-water. Other people say they feed the shrimp on one side of the tank while they vacuum the other side. I find that if I move slowly enough, the shrimp just jump away from me and it doesn't seem to be a problem. Make sure you leave any whitish exoskeleton molts that you find in there because the shrimp will eat it for extra calcium. And then final steps for maintenance, I just clean my sponge filter whenever I see the flow is kind of reduced, and then I will take a razor blade to clean off the front glass of algae if needed. Alright, I know that was a ton of information, so if you have any more questions about breeding shrimp or are interested in seeing a little bonus content, check out my new Patreon! To be honest, the main reason why I decided to set one up is because I'm getting inundated with individual requests for help on my email or direct messages, so I'm gonna start prioritizing one-on-one support for my patrons. That being said, I still plan on answering as many comments as possible on YouTube, and if your budget is tight, no worries. I highly recommend you join the Aquarium group support on Facebook as an excellent resource. Take time to enjoy your aquariums, and I'll see you in the next video.